Everyone, Pureblood here, back again with another video. Sorry it's been a while. Between the Glavier release and my ever-expanding roster and trying to keep up with that and work, it's been difficult to find time to make a video. I've wanted to make one when I was 1400, but yeah, I just didn't have the time, so I'm 1415 now, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of share where I'm at, kind of what my plans are going forward with my build, and with the Valtan patch coming and the changes to all the classes, what's going to change with the build, and yeah, what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm 1415, like I said. I think I'll be able to make the push to 1445 for Valtan. At least I'm trying. I'm just kind of saving up my materials for now. So for my engravings, I did add Grudge like I was planning, and it's worked out really well. I didn't post any of the videos, but I've done a couple Argoses since, and if I wasn't MVP, I was, in the top, in the grouping, and getting like Cruel Fighter. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of damage, which is good to see, even with the Spirit Absorption. So, had I switch this for something else, a pure damage, then obviously I'd be doing a lot more. But I'm really liking Spirit Absorption. Maybe with the Valtan release and the fact we'll have some more mobility with Charging Blow, I'll be able to drop this. Although I think I'll wait until supports have their relic set with the increased speed or movement speed. Um, I do have the level 1 Adrenaline, which I think is huge for me right now. My crit is a bit low. I've just done a DPS test, which I'll do one at the end of this video so you guys can see. I don't know if I'll get this high again, but yeah, I'm sitting around 60 to 63%, it looks like. And I'd like to get that into the 70s, so getting Adrenaline maxed out is probably going to be my next priority once we get into the relic tier. Although um, I think I'm going to leave things the way they are here. I don't want to spend too much more resources trying to get another third engraving here. It's just going to cost too much, and with the relic sets around the corner, I'd rather save up for those, So yeah, this is going to be what I have heading into Fulton. For gems, I've improved them a little bit, but I still haven't really focused on them. I really would like to get level 7 gems for my Supernova and Death Rattle here. Just got the one for now, and maybe a few others, but yeah, I still got some time to get there, so hopefully I can work on that. And then my cards, I have the Lost Wind Cliff set, which is very fortunate, so I'm happy about that as well. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the changes or potential changes to our build with the class balance coming with the Valtan patch. So with Shock, it seems like the general consensus is that not much is really going to change. Um, you do have some wiggle room. Like obviously, I'm making the change. I think the meta is using Crushing Smite over Dragon Advent here. Um, but I just really enjoy having the added mobility, and that might change. I might switch to Crushing Smite at some point, but for now I'm kind of liking the setup. There isn't really, I mean, there are talks. I think there's more flexibility with Taijutsu. Like Taijutsu has the potential to completely drop Charging Blow altogether for another spell, which is huge. But I don't think Shock can get away with that. At least not for now. Maybe something will change in the future, but for now, I think everything's going to stay relatively the same here. Whether you choose Dragon Advent or Crushing Smites, that's up to you. And then the other kind of change that I've seen some people make is taking out Roundup Sweep if they don't need the counter or their party has a counter covered, and then putting in Critical Blow. So that's kind of like the only other variation I've seen. Other than that, everything's going to stay, pretty much the same. So, but as for the tripods, that's where things kind of change a bit more for us. So obviously we're losing ready attack, and this will just be like a self buff to this skill, which is shock. We don't really need. So it's going to be between excellent mobility and focus. I myself am definitely going to go excellent mobility, just because it feels so much better. And the focus, it's definitely on the lower end when you compare it to like Fierce Tiger Strike, which is in the 20s, but Charging Blow is a lot lower. Obviously, it's on a lower cooldown, so that makes sense. So, you know, if you are having issues with shocking, then this is definitely a good option. But I'll probably be going excellent mobility. If I do have issues with focus, I'd rather just put in Crushing Smite for Dragon Advent, and then I can take the focus tripod here. So, but for now, I'm just kind of happy with Charging Blow with the mobility. In the second row, I was using Ruthless Advance here for quite a while, but the problem with it is that it has just like a longer animation. So these ones have a similar animation. A lot of people take Stone Fist, which I use for, you know, when I'm doing Chaos Dungeons. But this one gives you just a little bit more damage for like the same animation, so I think it might be a little bit better on your rating setup, but it's kind of a personal preference here. And then if you are taking this to level 10, I don't know if I will be at all times. When we get to level 60 and everything, I might not even have this to level 10, but if you do, Deathbend is kind of the way to go, just with the increased attack speed and a bit more damage. And I got a Rage Rune on there right now. And then Fierce Tiger Strike, nothing really changes. I guess whether or not we put 10 points into this or not, that's going to be the big question. I don't know if the new tripod that replaces this is going to be worth it for shock. Probably not, but I guess we'll have to play around with it to see. It's probably more of a taijutsu thing. But yeah, you definitely want your party synergy and most likely, yeah, just the focus here. And I have a bleed on there. However, I actually just got a purify, so I might put the purify on there instead, to be honest. I guess depending on the fight. Dragon Advent here, I have the mobility and the conflagration. If I were to ever go 10, I'd get the Great Destruction, just for the more damage. And I just got Gilwind on there. Supernova, quick prep. You pretty much have to do it. I mean, of course the attack speed would be amazing, but you know, when you're getting minus 11 seconds on the skill, you just can't pass it up. And then yeah, these are pretty much standard, these two, just more damage. And then so this is the other change I'm gonna make. So I was using Lightning Fist, I still am. As you can see, I got the tripod leveled up. But the problem with this one is that it's just a flat damage, whereas Refined Skill is percentage based, so it will scale better. The only problem with it is the animation, the wind up. But I think that with the change of Charging Blow, just the fact that we don't have to rely on using this every time before we want to use a shock ability to buff it, I think the fact that we now can just like, you know, when we have our window, we can just like use a shock ability will kind of help pull off getting this refined tripod and getting it out. So I'll kind of just show you like the difference between the two. So yeah, Lightning Fist, it comes out, it's just like a 2-part, you know, just up and down, it's really fast. Let me just reset the cooldowns here. So you kind of have to like choose like the direction that you want to go pretty fast, because you don't have a lot of time, it's just up and down. Whereas Refined Skill, you kind of have this like, yeah, first little uppercut and then into the big one. So the nice thing is that you kind of have some time to kind of choose which direction you want to go for the landing. But obviously, yeah, it's a longer animation, but it does more damage. So I think that's something that I will switch over to. And then the last two are pretty much standard, just more damage. Roundout Sweep. The first tripods and everything is pretty much standard. You can't really deviate from them at all, because it just gives you the big huge giant fist, which is amazing. And the fact that they changed it to now be a back attack skill, it doesn't modify off front attack, so it modifies off the back attack. So if you're using this in your rotation, and a shock is really nice as a filler when everything else is on cooldown, you can just toss this out, and now it does really good damage because it's a back attack. But so it was actually doing too good of damage, and they had to nerf it. So let's see. I think I have the patch notes from Max Roll. So these are all the same that was on the PTR. However, this was added, and they changed it. The Swift Prep tripod. So it's been reduced from 83% chance to reset on a crit to 54% chance, but it can be triggered on any hit. So definitely a bit of a nerf there. I guess we'll kind of have to see how it plays out, but it's a bit unfortunate because it was a really nice filler skill, and the fact that you could reset it just made it super handy, and it was really good for doing stagger as well, getting those resets. So the fact that it won't reset as often, I guess we'll kind of have to see how that plays out, but yeah, that was the change made with that, so it's a bit disappointing. So yeah, as you can see, I have Overwhelm on it because it was really good at, if you got the resets, it just did like a really good amount of stagger damage. And oh yeah, for these Supernova, I got Gale Wind and then True Rising Fist Overwhelm as well. I think the Refined Skill will actually do more stagger damage, I'd imagine, that it does like an extra hit, but I could be wrong. And then Chain Destruction Fist, I think these are pretty much standard. I think you can opt for Flame Explosion. However, I do like the Tenacity. Being able to tank a pushback or something is really nice, even in raiding. And then Death Rattle, pretty much standard. You can't really deviate from these. Of course, the attack speed would be amazing, but getting the cooldown is just too good. So I guess it is an option here, but I think the cooldown's way too important. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the only other thing that I've seen people kind of change is the critical blow for random sweep, so that's maybe an option. And of course the crushing smite for Dragon Advent, but other than that, everything's going to be pretty much exactly the same for Shock. Taijutsu is a different story. They definitely have a lot more flexibility, and I think there's going to be some experimentation with some new builds, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, I guess I'll just end the video with a DPS test. I don't know if I'll get up to this. Oh, I have to change back my tripod though. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, Shock is in a pretty good spot once you kind of get up to, the setup that I have, and I think it's just going to get stronger. Shock scales really well. A lot of the Koreans say the same thing, that the higher you go with it, the better it does, and it's in a really good spot. And the fact that it's getting this really nice quality of life kind of change and buff, it's going to be really interesting to see kind of where Shock Scrapper goes. So yeah, I'm really happy with where it is right now, and it's definitely going to be my main going forward. So when the new patch comes out, once I get some time, I'll definitely put out another video and kind of see where things are at. I'll probably be at 1445 at that point, so it'll kind of be hard to do like a side-by-side comparison, but maybe we can compare to some of the other classes out there, right? So anyways, I'll leave it off there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.